All right, so for my project proposal, I thought I'd do like an intro to standards-based grading since not all teachers here at the school implement that stuff, that sort of system. And so this would be for next year, probably about the second week of school. So give them a week to settle in, and then start distributing the flyers. So distribute them early on, use it like basically during syllabus week when you're handing back thousands of papers for parents to sign and whatnot. So give them the flyer. So pass it out, and so let them know where it'd be, when it is, why we're doing it. Provide food, coffee, water, things like that. Have a morning session and evening session, so that way you're able to hit different levels of parents and different levels of availability. And let them know that there's also child watch and things like that. So if they are like, oh, I can't do this, I have to take care of my kids at home, it's like, well, bring your kids.
Right.
Especially use it as an opportunity for students in class to give the students information too, right? If students had never been in a standards-based grading course or class, use it as an introduction so you're not having to spend class time discussing how they'll be graded. You can, so that way when you do spend class time, it's just brief, whereas this can be a little more in-depth overview. And just have it be put on, obviously not by the same teachers, but the teachers who do use standards-based grading. That way they'll be the most knowledgeable about it, and let them know that it's honestly for the students' benefits, that like we're giving them multiple opportunities to reach mastery on the standard, and that they never have to settle with a grade, that they can always improve upon it. And so the reason why is because if I was a student going in and I had just been introduced into a standards-based grading class, I would be a little overwhelmed, be like, oh, well, what does this mean? Things like that, especially as a parent, you're gonna want to know how your kid's being graded. So like if your kid has an F, you're gonna want to know why. And so you can inform them that like
there's communication between the grade book too, so you're not, they know, so you're all starting getting
it's transparency,
calls, right?
yeah.
Very
so
transparent.
so that way the parents know like, hey, why does my kid have an F? It's like, well, the parent will know immediately that my kid didn't attempt the standard.
Right.
It's not that they didn't try, it's that they didn't do it
They weren't
at all.
there.
They weren't there, they didn't attempt it at all. And so it'll clear up that kind of thing, and so you're able to create that kind of open communication system with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that way when stuff like that does arise and you do have to make a negative phone call, that they're going to be on your side more so, where it's like, whoa, well, you just gave my kid a bad grade because you don't like them.
Right. There's understanding behind it.
And so the objective of it obviously is just to provide students and parents with the information needed to understand the ways in which they'll be graded, keeping that transparency. And so the impact on the community is obviously smaller scale, but it shows that teachers here at HUG are wanting their kids to succeed. You never want to have a kid fail. You never want to have those teachers who use grades as leverage on students, like, oh, I don't personally like you, you don't show up to my class. It's like, if you know the material, you can pass my class. Right. If as long as you can demonstrate mastery of these standards, you can pass my class. Whether we like each other or not, it keeps it objective, which I think is great. And so especially here at HUG, with the lower socioeconomic status.
I want it out of my hands. There you go.
So just especially with like the lower socioeconomic status here, and there is a higher dropout rate here as compared to like say McQueen, which is a higher income school.
Right.
So it's showing that we actually do care about their continued success, and you want them to succeed. And so I think that'll be increasingly beneficial. It fosters good relationships with parents and students alike. Like, hey, I want you to pass this class. Like if you know how to do it, I don't care if you don't do the busy work. If you know the material, especially with like Julian, students like that, who they know the material, they just don't like doing the busy work. But when it comes to test time, he kills it.
Yep.
It's like,
he knows what's going on.
Who are we to tell him you failed the class because you didn't do homework X, Y, and B?
Right, because he had busy work for.
Yeah, exactly.
Classes, right?
It shouldn't be busy work. Jump through these hoops. It should be uniform and
beneficial to them.
Yeah, exactly. So because we're here for the students. How I definitely would reach out to other like the non-spare parent or non-English speaking parents, have student volunteers, things like that. So have student volunteers, students that maybe want extra credit, like say for like A-Push, other classes that don't operate on a standards-based system where we provide extra credit. Having them act as translators, translating the flyers, reaching out to the front office to distribute this. It'll all be distributed via school, social media as well. So just all over the place. Oh, you guys are early.
Assembly schedule.
Oh, it's assembly schedule. And so basically just making sure to do this real quick. And so the success of this project is something that won't be measured immediately. It's measured at the end of the year.
Right. You see it
So-
in your engagement from your
The
families,
engagement,
you'll
the
see-
involvement in parents, the
Right.
involvement in
Right,
students,
right.
things
So
like
you want
that.
to keep like a log to see if this is working for you, if you're having success with parents reaching out to you, and also you can keep track of how often you're reaching out to parents as well to continue
Exactly.
this. Yeah. To
So
foster
it's
this
something that won't be
relationship
measured
with them.
immediately.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, so it definitely would be, the success is measured through the communication about grades and things like that.
I think that's great. That's a great plan. You're especially for our population, parents. Like I said, we are very we are a low socioeconomic school. We have parents that are working at different times. Work multiple jobs. It's hard for them to be here and do something like this, and so you're giving them multiple opportunities to get
Yeah,
here,
so it'd be a
which is
Monday through
fantastic,
Friday thing,
especially
too.
with the child care and everything as well. That's
Mm-hmm.
really big for them, and then it creates engagement from those parents to want to come and learn about this. Also, yeah, you do it at the beginning of the year. There is a clear communication of what is expected of those students and how they're going to master their standards, and that is how they're going to be
Yeah.
graded. We're not giving them points or extra credit based upon them turning something in. We're actually grading and seeing, do you master the standard? At what level do you master
Yeah,
the standard?
exactly.
Do you not? Do we need to
Do you go
reassess
above and beyond, things
for
like
this?
that.
Right, and I think that's really big, communicating that to parents so they know what's expected of their student, and it creates a ton of engagement from them and a clear understanding and good relationship with those parents. This is also very this is also deals with the culture of our school too. This is something that we're shifting into, and I think it's really good to have. You have the teachers that are good at this already. You have them present in a very professional manner, and I think this will help continue the growth.
I should
of
also
the
mention, like,
standard-based
teachers are
grading as well.
other teachers more than welcome to come into this and see, like, hey, do I want to transition to this?
Also, very
Things
true,
like that.
right? And this is good for our other teachers that if they are thinking about transitioning into this type of grading, then they can also come and learn more about it.
And talk to
more
parents
information
too,
about it,
ask
right?
them how they feel.
How do parents feel? How do
keeping
kids
that
feel about
yeah,
it, right?
exactly.
And overall, we've gotten a good response so far. We know that with kids and parents, so this would just get
Reinforce
continue
it.
to grow
Yeah.
with this type of grading. I think that it's I think the parents will support this. I think it's a good plan. I think kids support this type of learning
Yeah.
as well. I think they want to be graded based upon their levels of achievement, just like
Yeah,
we
exactly.
want to grade them on the basis of their levels of achievement. And I think it creates a lot of buy-in with
Yeah.
both students and parents. I think it's good. This is a good job of. This plan is a good job of you taking leadership, a good leadership role
Yeah.
here at the school, or whatever school you go to, right? Being able to lead something like this is really big because it's new. It's hard. It's difficult to get people to buy into something that's new. People like to be stuck in their ways, and we know
Eduardo,
that
will you
teachers.
get the door?
We know that teachers get stuck in their ways as well, and so this is big to take on this big task, especially because it does change the culture of other teachers, of students, and how they're graded, what parents think about grading, and our overall function of grading at our school.
Yeah. Sweet.